As the Information Warfare Officer Community Manager, I've gotten a lot of questions over the past couple of years about the promotion plan, and so I wanted to create a presentation that helps explain some of the math behind the promotion plan. This discussion is simplified somewhat, but it's still useful in illustrating some of the underlying factors behind the promotion plan. This isn't an exhaustive tutorial on promotions, but I still think it's useful, and I hope that you'll share it as you see fit. What I intend to do is go over some key terms and formulas and then step through some examples. First, I should explain that the Navy uses a vacancy-based model for promotion planning. That means that more vacancies typically translates into more promotions. So in general, how do we determine the number of promotions for each pay grade? Well, first, we start with the number of requirements. These represent potential vacancies and are also known as OPA, or Officer Programmed Authorizations. From that, we subtract our beginning strength, which is also known as our inventory, and this is simply the number of officers that you have within each pay grade. We then subtract the number of gains. For example, if an officer lateral transfers into the community or promotes him from a lower rank, we also then add in our losses, for example, retirements and resignations, and that gives us the number of selects. So as an example, let's assume that our number of lieutenant commander requirements is 130. Our inventory, or the number of lieutenant commanders, is 125. The number of gains is 7, and the number of losses is 17. Using our formula, we plug in our numbers, and we calculate that the number of selects for lieutenant commander is 15. Once we know the number of selects, we can go about determining the zone size. The zone size is the number of selects divided by your opportunity rate. Opportunity rate is the in-zone percent chance of being selected. For example, if the opportunity rate is 80%, those in zone have an 80% chance of being selected to the next pay grade. The goal when determining the opportunity rate is to maintain a relatively similar percentage over a 5-year period, and relatively similar is defined as plus or minus 10%. For promotion planning purposes, we try to stay within plus or minus 5%, if possible. Any deviation outside of 10% requires SECNAV approval. These are the legal limits for each one of the control grades. It should be noted that zones are based on lineal seniority and not year groups. Another key concept in promotion planning is flow point. Flow point is the average number of years of commissioned service when an officer is promoted to the next pay grade. So promotion planners use a tool that helps to calculate the average flow point for different zone sizes. And these are the legal limits for the flow point for each one of the control grades. Note that it's possible for an individual officer's flow point to fall outside of these limits. The promotion plan and the tool calculates the average. So now let's go back to our earlier example. We know that we want to keep opportunity rate relatively similar, and we use the promotion planning tool to adjust the opportunity rate so that our flow point stays within limits. So for the purposes of this example, let's assume we use the promotion planning tool and that it told us that in order for our flow point to be within limits, our opportunity rate needs to be 80%. Remember that our in-zone size formula is the number of selects divided by the opportunity rate. So for our example, earlier we calculated that the number of selects for lieutenant commander was 15. We divide that by our opportunity rate of 80%, and we get an in-zone size of 19 officers. It's very important to know that only the current year zone size is fixed. The future years are a forecast based on historical averages of the variables that we talked about earlier. So in this example, the in-zone population is 19, and we don't need to know the exact number of above and below zone for this illustration, but you should know that the selection board is not limited on the number of selections it can make from above zone. It can only pick a maximum of 10% from below the zone. Each one of those picks, though, counts against your number of selects. So you subtract the above zone and below zone picks from your number of selects, and that tells you how many can be picked from in the zone. So this discussion helps us answer a common question, which is, why did the zone expand or contract? Based on our discussion, you should be able to arrive at the answer, which is something caused vacancies to change. For example, we may have seen an increase or a decrease in requirements. An increase means you have more potential vacancies, and a decrease means you have less potential vacancies. Another possibility is that you've seen an increase or decrease in losses. An increase in losses means you have more potential vacancies, and a decrease means you have less potential vacancies. So the bottom line is that a change in any one of these variables can affect the zone size. So I hope this is helpful in your ability to understand and explain some of the fundamental factors that affect promotion planning. Thanks for your time.